So all you guys know, today we have on the K3 sister band, and the whole thing with them is that they sing Harry Potter songs. So I wanted to know if you guys all know which house you're in. I know I am a very proud Ravenclaw.
No.
Hufflepuff all day.
Gryffindor. I want to be Gryffindor, but Brandon Pope made me take a test, and it said that I'm a Hufflepuff.
That makes sense. If
too.
anyone says Hufflepuff, it's Tina. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Brandon, what were you?
I'm a Ravenclaw, but I get Slytherin second.
Oh.
I knew there was a bit of Slytherin in you.
Oh yeah, you already know.
Is there a test for this? Can someone send me the test?
There's an online test.
What is the fastest way to watch all Harry Potter movies? Because I don't know what you guys are talking
With your eyes open.
Me either. I've never seen them.
Everyone, get the sorting hat. Get the sorting hat.
Get that sorting hat out, everybody.
Wait, did we determine the three of us are in different houses?
Yeah, I think I'm a Gryffindor. I think I'm with you, Amy.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Wait, I do have a confession though. I didn't do the official test online just because they started asking for emails and passwords, and I already got too many of those.
You just got hacked by Russia while trying to figure out what Hogwarts house you are in. And congratulations.
Yeah, I just couldn't. So you're just going to have to take my word for it. Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. This is The Jam. We're so glad you're here. I'm Felicia Lawrence, John Hanson, and Amy Rutledge hanging out with us today. And we have got a show for you.
Yeah, let's get right into it, guys. I cannot wait for this interview. Look, primary season feels like lifetimes ago, but you might remember there was actually a challenger to Republican Donald Trump, of course, in the primaries. It was former Illinois Congressman Joe Walsh. He joins us now. Mr. Walsh, first of all, thank you so much for coming on the show today. And I want to ask you a question. It's going to seem a little blunt, but I just kind of want an honest answer. Obviously, you were a Republican running as a Tea Party candidate in 2010, 2012. A lot of strong rhetoric against President Obama and other Democrats. So it's a two-parter. Do you feel at all responsible for kind of the raucous electorate we have now? And is that part of the reason why you're so anti-Trump now?
Yes. Great to be with you guys. Hell yes. Look, I've publicly told the world for the past year that I helped lead to Trump. No doubt about it. Some of the angry rhetoric that myself and others like me engaged in over the last 10 years helped to bring us Donald Trump. And I've apologized for that. And I took him on in the Republican primary because I'm trying to do something about it. I don't want him reelected.
So let me ask you, because you were very, anti-Obama for a while, for Trump, then against Trump, now supporting Biden, from what I understand. Tell me what it is that you think makes the best candidate for our next president.
It doesn't matter to me, guys. It never mattered to me who the Democratic nominee was going to be. Donald Trump is a horrible human being. And I'm guilty of, I voted for him in 2016. I didn't love him or like him. He wasn't Hillary. He blocked me on Twitter back then because I would criticize him. But I didn't pay. Look, I'm guilty, guys. Back in 2016, screw me. I didn't pay enough attention to Trump. After he got elected, I started to pay attention to him. And I realized pretty quickly he lies every time he opens his mouth. He's a horrible human being, and 228,000 Americans are dead now because he doesn't give a damn about anybody but himself. If it had been Bernie Sanders, I'd be all in for Bernie. It doesn't matter to me who the Democratic nominee is.
So you're known for saying some pretty shocking statements, but I mean, we do give it to you the fact that you come back around and apologize and admit your wrongdoing. It seems like we have a president in office that does not do that. So thank you for doing that. I want to know, though, because you also have been very critical of Republicans that have been silent right now. That's been one of the things that have driven me up the wall right now, is the silence of Republicans in office that knows the things that President Trump is doing is wrong. What would you want to say to other conservatives that cannot bring themselves to vote for Biden or to speak up against the president?
You got 5 days. Republicans and conservatives, screw you. You've got 5 days to publicly come out against this president. And if you don't, history will look poorly upon you. Look, the best thing about Donald Trump, guys, is he helped me change my tone. Absolutely. I engaged in ugly politics, and I'm done with that. But all of these Republicans, do you know that the vast majority of my Republican colleagues in private, they all tell me they agree with everything that I say publicly about Trump. And they don't have the courage or the decent, almost to a man and a woman, all of them over the last 2.5 years have told me that privately. They know he's bad for the party. They know he's bad for the country. I think the Republican Party's dead, guys, because I think Trump's going to lose. I think he's going to lose by a lot, but he's still going to dominate the party for the near term.
One of the things that led to your surprise win over Melissa Bean in 2010 was obviously her vote on Obamacare. You've been you were a staunch advocate against Obamacare, in fact, voting against it or voting to repeal it. Obviously, you've changed tones on the leader of the Republican Party, but have you changed at all your views about healthcare, about some of the policy issues?
You know, that's what's so interesting, guys, about this time. I'm like a reformed Tea Party conservative. I've cleaned up my act, but I generally still believe in the things I believe in. And before Trump came along, we were judged by where we stood on the issues. Now, for Republicans, it's all, where do you stand on Trump? So because I don't support Trump, I'm like a sellout. I'm a turncoat. I've changed on some issues. I've opened my eyes and learned about climate change. It's real, and we better get our act together. So there are some issues where I've begun to see the other side. But I'm still generally a conservative who believes in limited government. I'm more interested in dialogue. I'm not interested in just insulting the other side like I did too much back in the day.
Joe Walsh, I would not have recognized you a decade ago until now. We really appreciate your time. We are out of time, unfortunately, though. Let's get his social information up there. It is a great Twitter follow and really fired up, as you can tell here in this interview. And then, of course, he's on the radio as well. You can catch his show weekdays 3 to 5 on WCGO 1590 AM and 95.9 FM. All right, Brandon, let's find out what's happening in the news.
All right, the news you need to know. I'm Branson Pope. Waukegan police have released body and dash cam footage from the deadly police shooting of a black teen. The footage shows the now fired officer did not turn on his body camera until after the shooting, which is a breach of department policy. Uber is expanding to include grocery delivery starting in New York City first, starting in Manhattan, and then they're going to expand out to the rest of the city. The news comes as Mayor Lori Lightfoot and city leaders announce an Amazon delivery station in the Pullman neighborhood. And the Dreadhead Cowboy, an icon here in Chicago, says he sold his 4 remaining horses, but says it's only temporary. He also fired his pro bono lawyer after an argument about his animal cruelty case. Mayor Lori Lightfoot is backing down after expressing opposition to Governor J.B. Pritzker's new restrictions on restaurants and bars. She says prohibiting indoor dining is not reaching the right people. Also says it cuts off a significant portion of the economy when businesses need it most. The two did speak by phone today to clear some things up, and Lightfoot says she's not going to try to block that order. And Lightfoot does say the city data she has shows that restaurants are not actually the culprit of this COVID surge. She said the city data they got shows that it's more about the gatherings people are having. They're getting COVID from friends and people they actually know because they're doing small gatherings. So that was the reason why Mayor Lightfoot had such a strong pushback to it.
Yeah, and I don't disagree necessarily with Mayor Lightfoot. I also would love to see a federal mask mandate. Now, I know Illinois has a lot of mandates for certain places, but across the board, if you are in public and there are people around, I think you should be wearing a mask, and that would help curb a lot of our cases. And then start, maybe punishing those who are not following the rules, because we got to be able to keep these businesses open. Our economy is going to tank if we can't keep some semblance of life going.
We have to. And John and I, we had this conversation a little bit earlier, and you could chime in, John, but we were saying how this was a political decision. It was possibly decided behind doors, obviously just speculation, between Lightfoot and Governor Pritzker. And I think it was done purposefully just before Halloween, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think that, I don't think that Governor Pritzker makes an announcement without talking to Mayor Lightfoot first. And I think he's giving her the cover to come out against him so that she has a little bit more clout with the aldermen and older women across the city and the restaurateurs who are really fired up against her. And then, of course, she backs down one day later. I think that's more of a political move But I think no matter what, it is the right move. I mean, I feel sorry for every restaurant out there. This is going to be a dark winter for them. But whether they're a small part of the spread or a large part of the spread, if you're a part of the spread, you got to get shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Definitely going to be difficult because there's no outdoors to have when it's really cold outside, or at least it's tough to do that.
Can I
Actress
say
Surrender
two words
Swan.
right there? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say stimulus bill. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Indeed.
two
Where is
words.
the stimulus? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, guys. Actress Surrender Swan. She stars in one of the more chilling shows on television right now, CW26's Coroner. And she says Halloween is one of her absolute favorite holidays and shared with me a warm memory she has of her dad and her favorite costume.
So my dad made me a costume when I was maybe like 4. He made me a pumpkin costume. And at that point he was a single father and just being like, oh shoot, how am I going to do this? So he took one of those like the Chinese lanterns, the big ones.
Yeah.
He got me little green socks and like, I guess he painted my shoes green. And then he put me inside the lantern, which again, not great because my hands couldn't come out of it. And then this little hat that was just a green circle with a green like toilet paper roll or something that came out of it and went on. And so then what I would do is I'd go up to the person's door, and I don't know how I knocked on it. I can't remember that. He probably had to knock because I couldn't get my hands out of it. And then I'd squat down into the lantern and turn on a flashlight, and I was a little glowing pumpkin.
Oh my gosh.
It was actually pretty genius. And he painted like a little face on it, and then I would pop up and I'd be like, trick or treat. And then they would just fill, like, I guess they would just like scoop it into the neck of my lantern, and then I'd waddle off down the street. But that was probably my favorite single dad. I wish I had photos of it. I was like, way to go, Dad. I mean, my bangs were cut on an angle. I probably was like, had jaundice because I wasn't eating properly, but I looked like an amazing pumpkin.
All right, you can catch Coroner tonight, 8 p.m. on CW26. And we got more of the jam when we come back.
That's right, Brandon. It's being called a pandemic within a pandemic. After the break, I'll explain how the recent lockdown seemed like a death sentence for victims of domestic violence. We'll be right back. October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and with the stay-at-home orders put in place back in March, many domestic violence victims were and still are in danger. Well, the CEO of Crime Stoppers in Houston says this issue plagues many cities, even here in Chicago.
It's the absolute worst combination of facts for a victim of domestic violence, because as we go through this global pandemic that has so many layers and complicated pieces, a lot of us forget that the stay-at-home order, this push to stay home and remain isolated, is literally a death wish for some people.
Worried that not enough people were talking about the dangers lurking behind closed doors across the country, Rania Mancarios made it her mission to bring this issue to light.
These are important conversations to be having, Chicago and across the country, because we're seeing those numbers everywhere. Every major city is seeing an uptick in domestic violence numbers.
Rania says the numbers are hard to ignore. In Chicago local shelters, there was a 15% increase in inquiries after the city began its initial lockdown. In the first 3 weeks of March, there were 419 calls to the shelter. By April, 542, and those numbers only increased.
We know that Chicago Police Department is saying they're getting 500 domestic violence calls a day, and that when you look in general at your crime rates, domestic violence coming into 2020 was not one of your biggest trending numbers, but now it is. It's your leading crime number.
Between stress, financial insecurity, and just being home, the pandemic kicked off a trifecta of problems in households already struggling with heightened emotions.
The thing that an abuser needs most is control. They need control over every aspect of their lives, including the people within their family. And COVID sort of removed control from everybody. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
And not being able to see friends or family regularly has taken away a victim's crucial line of defense.
They need somebody to stand with them, because a lot of these victims have not just been physically abused, they've been mentally abused. They feel like they don't have the capacity to stand up on their own or make these decisions for themselves.
And she says speaking up can help save lives.
People say, oh, it's terrible, but it's sort of a personal family issue and it's not really my place. And for the most part, I understand that argument. But these victims, you know, they're desperate for help. Now, they don't need somebody to come in and strong arm them. They don't need somebody to come in and give them an ultimatum. What they need is somebody to help them come up with a plan, and not just a plan, a strategic plan.
Well, there you have it. For more information, you can head over to crimestoppers.org. You can also call them if you have a tip. And if you know someone who is in need of some help, you can also call the Illinois Domestic Violence Hotline. The number is right there on your screen. Felicia, over to you.
Thanks, Dee. Experts are warning a second wave of stockpiling is on the horizon. You know, when we all rushed to the stores back in March and April to get as much product as we can, well, 64% of shoppers, they did that. 57% are now considering restocking items because they say that we could be going into, it looks like we're in the start of another round, another COVID surge. So some of the top items that people were purchasing were canned goods, disinfecting wipes, and paper towels. But in the Chicagoland area, I would say add toilet tissue to that list as well. Did you guys stockpile, or are you planning to restock?
No, I didn't do it in March, and it worked out okay, although the newspaper supply got really low. But maybe a little bit more, right? Like, I don't want to become part of the problem. But like that's what people say until it's a real problem. And then they're like, oh, well, so glad I was the righteous one that didn't stockpile. I mean, I'll buy a lot of things for chicken noodle soup, but that's about it.
What I've done is, since the pandemic really started, is, you couldn't find wipes or disinfectants, but when they were available, I would buy the one I could get. Whether or not I needed it, I bought the one just because I didn't know when I was going to be able to get the next one. So we've kind of built up a little bit of a stock there, but I didn't go crazy, and I won't go crazy about toilet paper or paper towel. It will still be there. We know how this went after the first wave. Everyone could take a little bit of a breather in that respect, I think.
See, I missed the first one. Remember, I was on vacation when the first one was happening, and none of you guys grabbed extra tissue or water for me.
We didn't grab it for us. I ignored it.
No, I actually thought I could grab some for Felicia, but I'd better not. I want her to experience this like the rest of the folks.
Yes,
so,
vacation girl.
Make her suffer through it. Hey, Krista, what did you stockpiling?
As long as I've got my TikTok and Instagram, I don't need to stockpile. You guys know me. I'm good to go.
Typical millennial.
Yeah, guys. And And coming up, I'm so excited for this. I solemnly swear these TikTokers are up to only good. We are live with some viral sisters after the break. This feels like a spoiler.
Yeah, goodbye.
Spoiler alert.
Harry lives in the end. Bye.
The snake does.
I'm literally watching them now.
Stop saying what happened.
It was gonna happen.
I'm
Harry
over you, John Hanson. I didn't even know his life was at jeopardy.
There once was a boy named Harry who constantly conquered death. But in one final duel between good and bad, he may take his final breath.
That right there is the K3 Sisters Band, and they are blowing up the TikTok world with their Harry Potter themed harmonic melodies. And with over 250 million views so far, we're so excited to have Kaylin, Kelsey, and Kristen join us now. Ladies, okay, first off, this setup is amazing and impressive and epic. I've got to tell you, I've just started to get into Harry Potter in the quarantine, but I know I'm late to the game. You guys have been in it far longer. When did this Harry Potter obsession begin?
Thanks so much, Krista. Well, we've always grown up loving Harry Potter, and when we got our TikTok account, we decided, hey, let's post a Harry Potter cover of Double Trouble. And ever since then, we've been posting Harry Potter content because the Potterheads are out there and they love what we do. And we've reached over 50 countries on our TikTok as well as our live stream concerts on YouTube.
Yes, Harry Potter fans are super loyal. We love you guys.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's all in the numbers there too. I love it. And I was watching your videos. I love how you guys all have a house and you even get your mom involved. She's the Ravenclaw of the group. So I wonder, was it hard to convince your parents to get in on these TikToks too?
It didn't take much convincing with me on board.
Oh my gosh. Kristen's a true Slytherin, you can see.
Oh yes. By the way, I have to ask you, do you know what house you're
I took a quiz and everyone tells me I'm a Hufflepuff. I'm on the 3rd movie, so I'm still got a lot to go.
Yes.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
What a shame.
Okay, good.
We would love to have you in Slytherin.
Well, I mean, my name starts with a K. I know, Kristen, people might mix us up, but it could happen. If you ever need another one, let me know. You guys are just so creative and original with everything. I have to ask you about Halloween. Do you have something epic lined up?
We do. We have a Halloween show this Saturday on our YouTube channel at 1 p.m. CST. And I don't know if you can tell by our setup, there's some hints. It's going to be out of this world.
Wink, wink. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I don't know. Should we tell them what it is?
It's gonna be Men in Black, but women in black.
Yes,
we're gonna be in suits.
The women in black. Yes, our fans are so excited for it. They don't know what it is yet, so I don't know if we just spilled the beans. But hey, if
they're watching, this is an exclusive.
Yes, you've heard an exclusive.
K3 Sisters exclusive. Yes, I'm down. Okay, I love it. And you guys have an album coming out. What can your fans expect with that?
Go ahead. Yeah, actually, our album came out a few months ago, and it was called My Time Live. And our album is just epic. We really love to do live albums, and you can stream our album for free on our website, k3sistersband.com. Yeah.
But yeah, as our fans know, we're always constantly writing new content. We always sing 100% original songs at our weekly live stream shows. And, you know, we're, of course, already in the process of writing another album.
We have a new one coming. It's going to be epic.
Yes, we've got some awesome hits there. We're going to be releasing some as singles soon. So always, always watch our live stream concerts every Saturday at 1 p.m. CST because we randomly release new songs. So our fans never know what to expect.
Okay, K3 Sisters. I feel like you guys are dropping exclusives left and right here. Can we get a little sing song out to break? You guys got anything for us?
Yeah.
Of course. We're always prepared.
Yeah. Let's do the Phoenix.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, this is our song inspired by, where is he? Fox the
He's
Phoenix.
at the drum set back here. Can you
He's
see
over
this
here.
beautiful phoenix bird back here?
All
Fox
right.
the Phoenix from Harry Potter himself.
All right, here we go.
A
But
beautiful
this is an original called The Phoenix.
Just like the phoenix, you will arise. Out of the ashes, you're gonna fly. Feeling the healing, tears in your eyes. Nothing can stop you, now you're alive.
Ooh,
You guys want to
pretty.
start a trio band or no?
Yes.
When are we gonna get our group together?
Oh,
We could be the
Lord.
Soul Sisters of Chicago.
There we go.
Yes. Lawrence, John Hanson, Amy Rutledge. You guys ready for some TV?
Woo-hoo! Let's do it.
Might as well start now. Okay. Look, it cannot be easy opening up a business during this time, but on the South Side, a new shop is off and running. Pun segue. This is Ian Gonzalez. He opened up the Lap Cornerstone. He's an Auburn Gresham native, and he says it's the first South Side Black-owned running shop. It's right off the line there. I think it's the red or green line right there. And he says he was sick of schlepping downtown or other areas for running gear or nutrition advice. So he's like, there's a need in the community. I'm going to build it. And I love when people do that.
Yes,
I mean,
this is
that
absolutely beautiful.
Epic.
I think also it's like this misconception that, Black people are not out there or not exercising, or you look at communities and they have rundown buildings and empty lots, but people still live there. So I feel like this further, it helps that.
For sure.
I will say that most of the races I've ever run in were won by a Black male. They tend to be a lot of runners. So I'm shocked that there are not businesses out there, right?
Hey, fair point. Fair point.
Yeah,
the community needs it.
I didn't know that didn't exist. Who knew?
For sure.
All right, hey, let's stay on the same track. We all need to go for a run right now, let's face it. Maybe do a little yoga, relax our minds, our bodies, as election anxiety overtakes a lot of people this next week. John Hanson, this guy right here.
Yes.
Wait, this guy right here. Okay.
There it is. Yes, it is me. I've gotten out my notebook for some notes here.
Yes.
Okay, you ready, John? I want you to listen closely. Get ready to take your notes because this one is for you. Health and wellness expert Stephanie Wagner can help him calm his hopeless heart. Stephanie,
I'll try my best.
I think a lot of people can relate to John, though, just because the election, these are real issues with real people. This is tough.
Yeah, it is really tough times, and it's consuming a lot of people. Anxiety is present everywhere right now, so you're not alone.
Okay, so what are the best ways to A, keep anxiety from coming on? Because I think that is the most important thing, because it's harder to treat it once you got it.
Yeah, so what I would say is to, first of all, notice those moments where you're kind of getting caught up in a negative thought loop. Because what happens is we get this kind of cycle of negative thoughts. We get hooked up in the negative thoughts, and then those negative thoughts actually create a stress response in our body. So as much as we can, notice those moments when we're hooked and try and redirect your attention to something else. So it may be to, take a couple of deep breaths. It may be to appreciate something positive that's happening in the moment, but really try and see if you can actually recognize those moments where you are just caught up in that cycle of the negative thought loop.
So how many refreshes of Twitter would that be before I should stop doing that? Like, if you could just give me a number.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing, right? So we take on our mental state. It takes on a lot of what we feed it in terms of the media, right? So we have this negativity bias. We tend to be really focused on the negative. And what happens is that we get caught up in consuming a lot of negative news. And so we have to just recognize when that's happening and see if you can actually get yourself to step out of that doom scrolling, that seeking the negative news, and see if you can actually take a break, try and orient towards something positive. Whatever millions of Twitter, account things, tweets that you're looking at, you need to step away.
Step away, John. Put it down. I am also thinking about the effects that this has on your body. What should we be paying attention to physically when stress is taking over?
Yeah. So, what can be really helpful is to actually notice those physical signs in our body that tell us that we're anxious. We feel our heart racing, we can feel our breath getting really fast. And so, simple things like taking a couple of slow, deep breaths, be able to, get yourself out of your house, maybe go for a walk. I heard you talking a little bit earlier about exercise, like the importance of exercise, and getting out there can actually really also be a really important part of taking care of yourself, like stepping away from the constant stream of media insanity that can be feeding our mind a lot of negativity.
Well, and then the other question on that is, how do you put the potato chips and the ice cream down when you go down that rabbit hole?
Woof.
Yeah, exactly, right? It is extremely challenging. So here's what I would recommend. Notice when you have that impulse to go towards the potato chips, right? Like just see if you can recognize that impulse that you're seeking comfort. You're seeking something to make you feel better. And see if you can have a moment of being conscious of that and try and do something else that will help soothe you, that will make you ultimately feel better, be more aligned with your values. So, rather than going to that glass of wine, maybe like take a bath, maybe call a friend, maybe again, go for a walk or exercise, do something that kind of feels more aligned and nourishing with your well-being.
Okay, Stephanie, thank you. John, do you feel healed?
I do, because honestly, there's physical manifestations of this stuff. I have getting random acid reflux throughout the day, and then I realize I've been on looking at polls for an hour. So I am going to follow this advice moving forward. Thank you so much for it.
Yeah,
Thank you,
you're
Stephanie.
welcome.
Yeah. Hey, if you find yourself in a similar position, just working through that stress, working through all those negative emotions, you can check out Healthy Minds Innovations. There they are on all their social media and their website as well. And of course, we want to remind you to get out and vote. Only 6 days left, so make sure your voice is heard.
All right, guys. If you turn to comfort or junk food in these stressful times, Felicia and John and me, it might mean you're a Trump supporter. I'm kind of kidding, but kind of not. The New York Times did a really cool quiz asking readers to guess Trump or Biden supporter based on the contents of their fridge. So take a look at this. Biden fridges tend to have some more fresh fruit items and what they would call pricier items that only a Democrat would spend money on. Unscientifically, Trump supporters tend to have more processed fatty foods. We all know our president does like his share of McDonald's. So maybe these are the folks who also kind of follow that food trend. So let's see how we fall into those categories. Here is our pictures of our fridges. I want to guess who's is who because I know which one's mine.
This is invasive.
I'm gonna go. The one on the left is Felicia's.
Well, it
Wait,
says
John,
Felicia,
name is
so
there.
that's not a huge
Our
gallon
name is
of
there.
lead, but
Captain Obvious.
I was like, you really did it, Amy.
I have the bottom part of my screen blocked.
I was like, she's still guessing.
Yeah, we get it, Amy. Very good.
You're
Although,
so
as I look through my fridge, I'm wondering if I should start blaming my acid reflux on something else. But you know what I found interesting, and Felicia was horrified to take a picture of the inside of her fridge, by the way. But
it's very organized.
I do say I played the game on the New York Times. I saw that site this morning, and yes, it was kind of easy. It's sometimes to see a Trump one because there'd be like a case of natty ice in the bottom. But I will say it wasn't 100%. So I don't want to come across like we're just saying, hey, every Republican Trump voter out there is eating processed food. There were sometimes I saw like really healthy salads all stacked up like meal prep, and I'm like, oh, that's a Biden voter, and it'd be a Trump voter. So it does go both ways.
Well, yeah, because if you look at it, somebody who might be a little bit more fiscally conservative could be considered a Republican, right? And then they would have more money to spend on said things are more expensive. Who knows?
True. Great point.
Just because you like president likes junk food doesn't count. What's that?
What's that?
I just like looking at what's in you guys' fridge. I'm like, oh, well, what are they putting with that? And what kind of recipes? And John drinks whole vitamin D milk. I think that's interesting.
Well, and Felicia, you have a very organized fridge. Those last 2 rows, I was like, oh, girl, go. It's very full, too.
Yeah, with the best fridge. Yeah, the best fridge of all, Brandon Pope. What do you got hiding in there?
This is some hard-hitting political analysis, ain't it? I got a few beers in the fridge, some fruit, some chicken, water, nothing fancy. Who knows? I don't know what that makes me. But hey, guys, the Dodgers, they're World Series champs, right? But nobody is talking about the actual championship game. I'll tell you what they're actually talking about coming up. Plus, Anonymous No More. Just who was talking smack to the New York Times about the president from within the White House? The Jam will be right back. Brandon Pope here with the news you need to know to end your night. There are more job cuts coming to Chicago-based Boeing, saying it's going to slash 30,000 from its workforce after reporting a $449 million loss. Former Homeland Security official Miles Taylor has revealed he wrote the anonymous New York Times op-ed in 2018 that blasted Donald Trump and talked of a resistance inside the White House. And in a shocking move, the IHSA board announces they're going forward with high school basketball in Illinois, despite the recommendations of the governor and state health officials not to do so. No telling yet what exactly the next step is. However, districts can decide whether they're still going to have basketball or not. So it's not all across the board. Everyone's going to jump into basketball right away. CPS can still say no. It's all up to the districts at this point. The Dodgers, they won the World Series last night, but that is not what is making headlines today. It's the decision by Justin Turner to celebrate with his team after the game, but that's after testing positive for COVID-19. He even took off his mask, as you see right there, for different photos. Now, the MLB says they are investigating this and that Turner deliberately broke protocols to isolate. The MLB commissioner actually was off the field when Turner stepped onto the field. So we kind of waited till Dad was out of the room and snuck up out there. This is horrifying to see. I understand that it's a championship, and I don't know what it's like to win a world championship. Not many of us do. I get that he wants to be in that moment because he is a veteran player, doesn't know what his next destination is going to be. But can't you do it when everybody is off the field? Maybe take a picture later on by yourself. It seems reckless, and it's also a sad metaphor for this country right now. A maskless man next to a cancer survivor. His manager is a cancer survivor.
You bring up great points, and look, I'm with you for a lot of that. But until you're in that position, first of all, he was taken out of the game, like in the middle of the game with this diagnosis as well, and which is such a unique and strange set of circumstances for the last game of the year. But when you're in that position, I imagine you just want to be out there. I get the human nature element of wanting to do it, and they take a picture. We're still looking at videos and pictures from the 2016 Cubs World Series win. At least I am every night before I cry myself to sleep. But the point is that if you're not in that picture, you will never be in that picture. They get Photoshop. So I guess I understand. I think it's irresponsible, but I can kind of see
wait. What if the guy sitting next to him, the cancer survivor, ends up in the hospital next week and dies?
You're right.
How do you feel then?
Absolutely. You could say he's outside at least, and they were more than 15 minutes next to the.
At that point,
I think it was irresponsible, but I wouldn't go as far as that, respectfully.
I just wonder if they could have just squeezed him on the end really quick and then run off, just really, really quick. Not in the middle. He's in the middle of everything. And it's just it's just not worth it. I don't know. I feel like they could have cropped him in later, Photoshop.
Yeah, that's true.
Photoshop him in, for sure. I get that. John, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Let's just hope it's a false positive test, guys. Let's hope it's false positive because this doesn't look good.
Yeah.
All right, guys, another story here. Pretty interesting one from Burger King. If you're scared of clowns, Burger King's latest ad is sure to freak you out. They're summoning the mascot of their arch rival, McDonald's. Take a listen.
Cancel clown. Cancel clown. Cancel clown.
Oh,
kind of riffing off of Candyman. If you say Candyman 3 times, you say cancel clown 3 times. Supposedly Ronald McDonald or some sort of weird clown creature is going to appear. It's a riff on the Bloody Mary urban legend as well. Burger King, they placed voice recognition software inside the bathroom to trigger the effect. And both the chains have taken some fun jabs at each other. So it's just another continuous ribbing of the fast food war.
I love to see fast food restaurants argue on social media. It is so good. But let me say, these are 3 things that I will not be saying in front of the mirror. We have close ties to this as Chicago. I will not be saying Candyman, Bloody Mary, or cancel clown 3 times in front of a mirror.
I'm with you, Felicia. I don't care that it's a joke and that it's funny. That creeps me out.
I can tell you, I've done the Candyman and survived. I'm still here,
Yeah.
guys.
Oh,
The only thing I look at the mirror and say is, well, I was going to say something inappropriate. Never mind. Let's go to break.
Yeah,
Say the inappropriate
there's
thing,
that John
please.
Hanson comedy.
Yeah, there it is. Shut up, Brandon.
There's the John Hanson comedy.
Well, hello there. If you are just finishing up at dinner and you're moving on to dessert, looking for a new place to get some, pay attention and get ready to drool.
Hi, I'm Julie Wang. I'm one of the owners at Sweet Mandy B's Bakery here in Streeterville. This is our second location that we opened March 5th of 2020, right before the pandemic. We do have our original location located in Lincoln Park near DePaul University, and the location has been open for 18 years, providing sweets to the community. At Sweet Mandy B's location, Streeterville and Lincoln Park, we bake on site fresh items daily. We offer a large variety of items from breakfast muffins to scones, cinnamon rolls. We also offer a large variety of cookies. One of our favorite cookies is our ice sugar cookie or our double doozy cookie, which are 2 chocolate chip cookies with buttercream in between. We have a variety of cupcakes. At our Streeterville location, we have a weekly cupcake that we offer that changes just to get people excited about something new. We have cakes available for purchase. We could do custom cakes, but we also have cakes available in-house for that last-minute birthday that maybe you would want to drop off to a friend of yours. We also do weddings at our Lincoln Park location. In our Streeterville location, people are able to walk in and see the plenty of items that we offer each day. We have an amazing team behind Sweet Mandy B's that work together to create a wonderful environment, friendly atmosphere, and put out great treats for anyone to enjoy.
Oh, yeah, Sweet Mandy B's. There's the address. By the way, she said Streeterville a couple times. It should be Sweeterville. For more jokes like that and better restaurants, you can check out Chicago Food to Go Sundays at 11:30 a.m. on CW26. We'll be back after this. Spooky.
Got the chills. That was
Guys,
fancy.
we're playing a game. It's called, that was fancy. That was pretty high budget for the jam, I gotta say. We blew a month's worth of budget on that animation. It was worth it, though. Welcome back to the show. We're going to end the game with a little Name That Monster. I'm so glad Brandon is on the other side because we are fighting right now in our group chat. It's going to be hosts versus reporters. I don't know what you guys even call yourselves, but the point is we're going to have 30 seconds. We're going to have 30 seconds to name the monsters that come up on the screen. Hosts go first, you guys go second, and whoever has the most wins. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put your boots up.
So
Can everyone face the right way?
You
Let's
guys
give
have to say
Krista a gift.
nothing during this whole thing.
Let's give Krista a gift. Nope, other way, Brandon. There we go. All right. Krista, you're going the wrong way. There you go. Okay. She's got a gift now. 30 seconds on the clock. Team host first. Let's name that monster.
Okay, go.
Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger.
Oh.
Yep, that's one. All right, let's go north. Chucky.
Chucky, thank you.
Oh, yes. Oh.
Frankenstein.
These are so
Frankenstein.
easy. These
Munster,
are so
Munster.
easy.
Munster. Amy got it. Amy got it. All right, what's next?
I wouldn't have
I
known
said
that
Frankenstein.
Oh,
The girl from The
I
Ring.
hate this one.
The Ring. The Ring girl? Does she have a name? Ring
Yeah.
girl.
Haley. Her name was Haley.
Samara.
I knew it was Samara.
She haunted me for years.
Oh,
For
yeah.
That
years.
was a
I saw that
scary
movie in
one.
theaters. I hate it.
All right, let's see
Yeah.
how
We
good
only
you guys
got
can do.
3. Felicia didn't say a word in that whole thing, but go ahead. Go ahead. 30 seconds
All
on
right,
the
here we
clock.
go.
You
Come on,
guys
guys.
go.
Let's
You
do it.
talked over me the whole time.
Beetlejuice.
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 Oh.
Oh, we said it 3 times too. Nice.
Cruella de Vil.
Cruella de Vil.
Yeah, Cruella de Vil.
Yeah.
This is the millennial one. I would have gotten that one.
Michael Myers.
Jace.
Oh,
One more
Okay,
for the
come on. You
win.
guys got easy ones.
It.
Pennywise.
Pennywise. Pennywise the clown. Yeah.
Ah!
I know all yours.
Casper.
We won.
The
We won. We won.
Yay, one. Fine.
I should have been on the team with the rest of the young people.
Oh, I'm a zero.
Yeah, how about
apparently.
can we leave them on John's face?
Yes, not 1-0, but 2 zeros right on my
that
face.
got.
That was all right. So, Krista, you mentioned that Samara or whatever her name scared you. Anyone else have one that they know of that really scared you? Amy.
Okay, so I'm not kidding. Since I was a little kid, I've been afraid of vampires. To this day, I don't care if it's 9,000 degrees in my room. I have to have a blanket up to my chin or I can't fall asleep. I will sweat my butt off before I put it down so you can see my neck.
Wow.
Weird.
The vampires.
Still to this day. And I love
Anyone else got one
vampires, which is-
quickly? Got about 10 seconds left. Anyone? Brandon, who you scared of?
The monster from Jeepers Creepers. Remember Jeepers Creepers?
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
I stay praying.
He was creepy.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Prayers